So it's the 22nd today, and look, it's kind of a tough situation when you work a late shift in the afternoon. So you start at 1, you finish at 9:30, and then you know you're going to be back at work for an early morning to start at 7 and then to go through until 3:30 in the afternoon. So today was more about just getting something in, and it's one of those days where you have a long shift and you just don't feel like doing anything, so you're going to train light. And I think, like I've probably mentioned before in another video, I've trained light on the treadmill in my gym. I got a right treadmill this time, the one on my left. It's the one that plays up, that's the one I used last time, big mistake. And it was 20 minutes. Just sets the timer, I just press the button on the treadmill, it sets for 20 minutes, it goes, I set the speed. That's sort of all I do. And it wasn't a fast one. I think the last time I did one as more of a tempo run, so I set that at 15 k's an hour to run. This one I set at 12 k's, and that's probably below my cruising speed. I think if you're looking at maybe 13 and a half k's an hour is where I'm in the groove. I'm getting a good workout, but I'm sort of not. My heart rate's sort of sitting about 160, between 160 and 170. So that's my sort of my Goldilocks zone there for running. If I'm pushing about 15 k's an hour, it's more between 170 180. And if I'm sort of sitting at 12 k's an hour here, I'm probably sitting in the low 160s, high 150s, which was comfortable for me. It wasn't a hard run at all the last 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I just increased it to 15 k's an hour just to get my heart rate up a little bit and feel like I've pushed a little bit more than what I did. But yeah, it was definitely training light and just making sure that I stuck with that mentality of just getting a workout in every day and just doing something every day, and just proving, going from my last video, and just proving that you have time to do anything you want. You have time to train. This training might be an example of things you can do and there's things you say you can't do, or things you think you can't do due to restraints, time, money, whatever. This was a time, like this is the gym in my building complex, so nothing fancy, but like I said before in the other video, running is free. You can go outside, put some joggers on, go for a run down the street. The reason why I ran on the treadmill today and not inside is Saturday night tonight, and I just don't want to deal with running around crowds of drunk people heading into the city, going to the pubs and the clubs. I just didn't want to deal with it, so I thought I'd just come down in my quiet little complex gymnasium in my little corner and sweat out 20 minutes, put my headphones on, listen to some music and just enjoy it. I think a lot about running for me, one, it's about digging into your pain cave and being hard and learning things about yourself while under stress. That's generally what I get out of my long runs, my long hot ones in the middle of the day. A run like this, where I'm getting my heart rate up, I'm getting a workout in, but I'm not necessarily getting exhausted or at a tempo to where I'm really pushing myself and fatiguing quite quickly. It's more about decompressing. It's the kind of run you do in the evening when you're decompressing after a long day of work or a hardship or something like that. Put my music on, I hit to a pace that I know I can sort of cruise to and get in a good rhythm to, and I just bang it out. It was a long shift today. A lot of things went wrong in the ICU. Not wrong, but as you expect, it's intensive care. It's in the name, intensive care, for a reason. So you've got to expect moments where it's a little bit of madness and a little bit of chaos. So it's just a long shift, a lot of complex patients coming in quite quickly. Nothing to do with COVID or anything like that. Maybe one to do with COVID, but more just your usual people getting into car accidents or people drinking and hitting their head and stuff like that. Or a lot of stuff that probably could be avoidable. And I look at that sometimes and I just look at people in hospital and I think how much of their current condition could have been avoided whether you're looking at someone's medical history like diabetes, high blood pressure, high weight, things like that. I look at how much of that could be avoided, or or something more acute, like say car accident where you were speeding and you crashed. Could have been avoidable. You could have gone slow. You probably could have got home safe or got to your destination safe without ending up in the intensive care on a ventilator with a breathing tube down your throat, and a few broken bones and a lot of medical lines coming in and out of everything. So yeah, I often think about these things and think about the things I can probably control in my life to keep me out of this place. I know, like, I haven't mentioned it before, but I work in intensive care, and I see a lot of people that are close to death. Like, if you're in intensive care, it's probably the closest you will ever be to death without actually dying. If you're in intensive care, you're pretty close to being dead. And like, mind you, we're pretty good at bringing people back from the brink, sending them from intensive care up to another ward, and then from the ward back home, back to the management of your GP. I often think about the things that bring people into this place in the hospital where you get so close to dying and you're so sick, and if you were taken off any of this medical intervention at critical points throughout your stay in intensive care, you would die quite quickly, and you'd fall in a heap, and we'd be jumping on your chest, giving you CPR kind of thing. So I look at it, and I look at things I can control in my life, like comorbidities, diabetes, eat good food, don't have too much sugar. I do intermittent fasting as well, which is part of my sort of management towards that sort of insulin insufficiency that you see in diabetes. So you can optimize your insulin spikes when you're fasting, and you can sort of sustain your blood glucose over a long period of time. You get to utilize your liver a lot more as well, and all the glucose storage that your liver provides, and glyconeogenesis and so forth. So think about things like that, body weight, exercising, obviously, eating healthy, not smoking, limiting alcohol intake. Like, yes, you can have a drink, but don't do it every single night, and don't like, I've looked after people that drink a bottle of vodka a night and think that's pretty okay for them because their mate down the road drinks a bottle and a half, kind of thing. So yeah, it's, you can still do all these things, and you can still have, everyone has their vices, but just moderation, discipline, and doing the right things 99% of the time pays dividends for you, especially later on in life. And yeah, of course, you see a lot of unlucky people in there. Like young, healthy, unlucky people. People who get bashed. King hit randomly. They don't have any sort of control of that. Or people who are, someone crashes into them in their car or something like that. They have no control over that. So I try not to worry about too many things that I don't have control over. Because I see, you can be walking down the street and you could still end up in hospital, or you could still end up dead like that. Like a car veers off the road and hits you too fast or too hard, or hits you in the wrong spot, or you land in the wrong place where your head hits something. Anything. So that's sort of my mindset in sort of what I've learnt throughout my career in health is letting go of things you can't control. Because I've seen probably more people in hospital for things they can control rather than they can't control. And I can't control it. I can't do anything about it. So why am I going to worry about it? If it happens, it happens. I'm not going to stop it. But to focus on the things I can control, and to make sure my life is happy and healthy, and just it's sort of complete in a sense. I want to live well. I want to live a good life. I want to be surrounded by loving family and loving friends, and I want to exercise. I want to be fit. I want to enjoy the outdoors. When I have kids, I want to enjoy playing with my kids and being around them. And I don't want to be one of those people who are in their late 30s, early 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, who are like a shadow of a human and limited to can only walk down the street, and then they're out of breath, they're tired, they need to sit down, kind of thing. or is on home oxygen. They walk around with a little oxygen bottle behind them, and the nasal prongs in. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to be fairly active and fairly fit. And look, I've seen that as well. I've worked in aged care. The people that have generally looked after themselves in that regard lead much better lives when they're older. Their resilience to disease, to aging, just to the general decay that your body's under when it ages. Your resilience to that is huge. And you can obviously your quality of life as well. You can do more things. You can your body looks after you in that regard. If you look after your body throughout your life, when you're older and you're probably struggling to do less, so your body will look after you in that respect. So that's probably my take home thing that I was thinking about in between the music on this jog on the treadmill. Sort of sped up half of it, just because I probably don't have the strength in me to talk for 20 minutes. I think 15 will be enough. Look, it's about 20 past 11 at night when I'm recording this. I did this run about 10 p.m. Maybe a little bit 10:15. I got sort of finished work at 9:30, got home maybe 10 to 10. Had a drink of water, had a stretch, back out, do some running. I'm gonna go eat, gonna go to bed. I'll be up at 5:45, and be at work before 7, ready to start at 7 o'clock again. Look, that's probably all from me this evening. I'm just gonna let this video play out, and I'll see you in the next one tomorrow. Cheers, and can't wait for days off from after tomorrow. Days off, 3 days off. I'm gonna absolutely smash it. Do some heavy lifts, do some long runs. Absolutely, burn my guts out over the next 3 days. So looking forward to that. Cheers.